So, Dustin, you picked one hell of a movie for us, huh?
Yeah, I mean to go with the tropes that they kept playing pretty hard in the movie. Originally, I had said Hubie Halloween when I told you
Yes.
what movie I wanted to watch.
And then I followed your lead,
Right.
mispronouncing the name of this movie for like a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hadn't even watched the trailer at that point. I just saw it on Netflix and I said it out loud how I thought it would be pronounced.
And then that was like, I think one of the first movies you recommended we do for the show. Like
Hell,
where
I don't
you
know.
actively
Probably.
were like, dude, we have to do this movie. And I was like, I've never even heard of this movie.
Well, yeah, because when we were talking about it in the show, that was way before we even got started. And then we were gonna do this last week, and then the movie hadn't even been released yet because we weren't
Come
even
on, yeah.
paying attention to the release date. So,
No.
Hubie Halloween, Adam Sandler, and
His band of
the crew.
misfits.
Yeah, his gang of misfits. That's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
Well, yeah. No, these are people that literally this is all they do.
Yeah.
And that's
Adam
coming from
Sandler.
somebody that loves Steve Buscemi. Like, I know I'm one of the few probably out there, but I like genuinely love that dude, and everything I see him in was easily the highlight of this film for me. Like, Steve Buscemi, that's my guy.
All right, John, you got to catch me up to speed and our listeners/watchers if they don't know who Steve Buscemi is.
Jesus. All right. So Steve Buscemi plays Walter, Hubie's neighbor.
Yeah.
That's got his whole thing going on. But I fell in love with the guy. I mean, I love the guy going all the way back to tying it into a previous episode, Nick Cage's Con Air, but also gained a ton of appreciation for Steve Buscemi in HBO's Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, so he has done other
Yeah, oh yeah.
Adam Sandler movies. Obviously, I've seen him in Con Air, but that was, he's playing a crazy character in that, crazy character in this, in the Adam Sandler movie he's been in, kooky, crazy character, right?
Yeah, pretty much always.
Yeah. So, he was your favorite character in this movie, huh?
Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I did not say that. I said Steve Buscemi was my favorite thing about this movie. His character was fun.
Yeah.
But like Steve Buscemi was out there, like you can tell, you see that man doing this movie and you go, yeah, he's just here having a good time. I can't say the same about most of the other actors.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I hadn't dove into any of the articles because I was just quickly trying to throw my notes together for this. And there were some articles out there talking about how they had to like bring him on and like convince him for the role.
Oh, I would not be shocked. He's very much above this.
which is kind of like, it's interesting just because of the other roles he's played in some of the other Adam Sandler films.
Yeah, but I think he even realizes now that like it's a joke that's not funny anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's very much like Adam Sandler. I so much appreciate Adam Sandler's his ability to really just be himself, and his ability to like he takes care of his people. Like he is a genuinely good dude. But his movies are like that dumb like joke you heard as a kid that you thought was hilarious back then, and now it's the same joke being retold over and over, and you're like, yeah, okay, cool. Like it's just not as funny anymore.
Right. Well, I guess we should probably catch everyone up to speed. Hubie Halloween,
Hubie.
Thank you. Jeez, I'm gonna be doing that the whole time. I know it. Anyway, The plot, I'll just quickly read the plot of this film. Despite his devotion to his hometown of Salem and its Halloween celebration, Hubie Dubois is a figure of mockery for kids and adults alike. But this year, something is going bump in the night. And it's up to Hubie to save Halloween. And boy, does he save Halloween, doesn't he, John?
He does, make sure it's fun for everyone.
That's actually a funny point there. I was reading, as I was pulling my notes, I was reading that this is a family, fun for the whole family.
Oh, yeah. It's a family fun film. Family fright night, good times. Yeah, no, it's there were moments that I chuckled, mostly because I picked up on some of the like horror references that they were like parodying.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that I'm not gonna say I hate, because I don't think that's fair. This is a movie that was made for a very specific audience, and I was not it at all. This was a movie that was made for preteens. This was a movie that was made for diehard Adam Sandler people, those people who scrape the bottom of the barrel and even like Jack and Jill just because they love Adam Sandler.
Yep.
And I am neither of those categories.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right off the bat, as we jumped into the movie and Hubie's character, played by Adam Sandler, obviously, it was. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to understand him because he was talking with that like crazy lisp. Super
hardcore, like mumble.
Yeah, mumble, lisp, whatever. And I was a little worried that I was going to be bothered by that, because right away I was kind of thinking to myself, are we kind of making fun of people?
Yeah, like it's an Adam Sandler movie.
I know, but I was like, oh, that's a little rough. And it wasn't like, he was dumb by any means. It was just, and I think that's really what the movie drove home as we went along. Obviously, he wasn't dumb. He was just kind-hearted. He cared for those in his town.
He's naive,
of Salem. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually, speaking of Salem, through the movie, they were throwing this huge Halloween festivities, crazy, like all get out. Is that actually what they do in Salem? Do you know?
I don't think it's quite like the movie depicts it, but from what I know, like, they have a pretty big, like,
they go all out.
Everybody wants to go to Salem. Why wouldn't you go all out for it, right? Like,
yeah.
To my knowledge, anyway. I could be misremembering what I've read, but yeah.
Right. Well, and I know Halloween is like one of your favorite holidays, and my background is pretty limited when it comes to Halloween.
You don't say.
Thank you, Mom. Dora the Explorer. Nope, that wasn't for me. Nope.
All right.
Anyway,
alrighty.
Yeah. So no Halloween for me, and seeing like this huge celebration of Halloween and him going out and making sure all the trick-or-treaters are being safe, I'm like, I can't relate to that at all. I've been trick-or-treating like once in my life.
Wow, that's really sad.
I mean,
that's really sad.
Yeah.
Man, so like the first time you have a kid and you take them trick-or-treating, it's really gonna hit for you, huh?
Yeah, it'll be my second time.
You're gonna tear up. You're like, this is it.
It was all for you. It was all for you. Yeah. No.
Oh my.
John's losing it. He can't even hang out. Yeah. Yeah. It was over the top, as like he was going out protecting people, Hubie. I mean,
he's the freaking HOA asshole that nobody likes. Like, let's be real about who this character is. Like, is he kind-hearted? Sure, but he's the freaking dick that's like, hey, by the way, I measured your grass. You're about 1/8 of an inch too tall.
You're gonna have to cut that. Yeah. Well, yeah, and right away, no one likes him, as he's riding his bike and they're throwing stuff at him, which I thought was like crazy. And then like the It was really bad CGI.
Seeing that as a recurring thing too was just like, all right,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. So as he's riding his bike, they're throwing watermelons, bags of flaming feces at him. And it was cool. Like, it wasn't cool, but like the stunts he did on the bike, I'm like, okay, I can respect that. That was interesting. Him going backwards all of a sudden, dodging everything. Cool. But then that was just a reoccurring theme throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like if you were to take a shot of rum,
every time
drunk, he was getting stuff
drunk.
thrown at him, you'd be wasted.
Yeah. One thing I want to address real quick, because I don't know if you know this. At the beginning of the film, it opens with the orderly in the mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually, so that's Ben Stiller actually playing the exact same orderly that he played in Happy Gilmore.
I was reading about that. And
yeah, man.
As you had mentioned before, at the beginning of our, or as we started off this show, it's got a heck of a cast.
I mean, it does. Like, it is. But it's also like it's Adam Sandler's pretty casual cast of characters for the most part.
Right. Obviously, Ben Stiller being in some of the other ones. Man, what was his name that you mentioned before?
Steve Buscemi?
Thank you, Steve Buscemi. Yep. Kevin James.
Yep.
I feel like Julia Bowen is in some other movies, but I don't know.
I think so.
And she played Violet, his love interest. Okay, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that's Adam Sandler's the only reason Rob Schneider still acts.
Yeah. Oh my God. Richie Hartman. Well, what else is he in? Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider? He's in like every Adam Sandler movie.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty much it. He did a couple movies in the early noughties.
Early 90s?
The 2000s, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The noughties. And then he kind of fell off, which is a shame because he can be really funny. But
yeah,
you don't know. Okay, moving on.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're. I honestly haven't seen him in anything else though.
He's the "you can do it" guy. You've never you can't picture that character right away.
Nope.
Oh my goodness! All right,
well, and I've seen
an Adam Sandler fan.
Well, and I mean, if you've seen any of Adam Sandler's other movies, I think this was really kind of just a huge pull in the nostalgia strings. Really, with the blatantly obvious. Well, don't you think?
A little bit. I mean, it's very much classic. As much as we think very highly of several of Sandler's former movies, this movie that we would trash, it really isn't that different. But again, I think it's because it's the joke we've seen 100,000 times at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just gonna say,
he's pulling on nostalgia, but it's how much is that working?
Well, in the case of some of my other family and friends who enjoy Sandler's movies, I think they would enjoy this movie just as much. And I mean, what was the last Adam Sandler, or what was the last movie Adam Sandler was in?
He did the Uncut Gems.
He did. Did you see that one?
The Ridiculous Six? No, I did not see Uncut Gems. He did. He pretty much puts out a movie a year. He did that one with Jennifer Aniston last year.
Oh,
he has a corporate deal with Netflix.
Oh, okay.
He has to produce so many movies on it, but they get all of his movies. It was a huge thing. You don't know about this? It was a huge thing.
I didn't know he had a huge deal with Netflix.
Several years ago, it became a massive deal because it was Netflix announced this something insane 90 picture or something really insane movie deal with Adam Sandler that basically he has to make at least one movie every year, and they're going to pay for it, and then they're going to host it.
Well, and what was actually frustrating when I was trying to find out more information about this film, I have no idea what the budget is. Obviously, there's no like box office because it wasn't released in theaters because on Netflix. But like, I couldn't even find budget information.
You couldn't?
You should give it a little look see and see if you can't find anything.
Let me do that right now.
Because like I was like thinking to myself, I wonder how much they didn't pay for that CGI. But no, like I think if you like, and what I was saying earlier is, and I wasn't like trying to put flack on the movie. I was just mentioning that if you like all the over the top, inappropriate jokes and references in
toilet humor,
previous Adam Sandler movies, you're gonna like this movie and you're gonna enjoy it because that's what it was. There was some, funny jokes that I enjoyed that.
That's like,
weren't
that's what I want to say is like
trashy.
It made me giggle a few times. I was like, oh, okay, that's funny.
Right. Like the one scene where there was a scene, I should say, where he just saved the cat from getting hit by the car.
Yeah.
And then, he's petting it, and then not middle-aged, but a young white woman named Karen comes out and starts yelling at him
about
my cat. What are you doing with my cat? And then she's like, give me my cat back. And he just tosses the cat. Like he literally throws the cat.
Chucks it at her, yeah. She catches it though.
Yeah, she catches the cat. And then his love interest, Valentine, Violet Valentine, played by Julie Bowen, rolls up and starts yelling at Karen. It's like, if you say one more mean thing to Hubie, I'm going to come over there and beat you with that cat.
This was a joke that like landed at first, but that didn't make any sense to me because it was like, hold up, is that supposed to be like a red herring style thing? Is that like, what is that supposed to be?
I have no idea.
Honestly, what it felt like to me was a callback to that nonsense humor that would occur. I'm thinking like Scary Movie, right? Like from the Wayans brothers, where there would just be some nonsense one-off line that didn't actually set up anything, but only existed to try to get a cheap laugh because it was so counterintuitive to everything else about the character. And that was very much this line. It was like, never again do we get an instance of even a whiff of like, oh, this lady. But in that one scene, instantly she threatens to whoop somebody's ass and they straighten out. I got questions and this doesn't line up.
Right. Well, and it really doesn't line up once you find out more about her, adopting like 3 children, right?
Right.
And honestly, the line wasn't even what made me laugh. The fact that they CGI'd the cat with its eyes wide open and its mouth wide open. Yeah. And it was just kind of like over there. It wasn't, like zoomed in or anything. It was just there. Didn't draw a ton of
attention. It was just there.
There was no attention. It was just there. And that made me laugh. Just like something that somebody would throw in their own like home movie.
Right. Yeah. No,
the
absolutely.
ridiculousness of it. But
I don't know. Did you pick up on any, like, with you not being a horror movie fan, did you pick up on any of the like references to horror movies that they were making just from like your limited knowledge?
Obviously you had like the classic, like people getting pulled into like the darkness or whatever. But that's just, I don't know, corny horror movie stuff. I might have picked up on some other references, but I can't really like point them out.
Gotcha.
Per se. And that's what I was actually going to talk to you about, because I feel like they were kind of making fun of horror movies for sure.
They were making some pretty blatant references. So, like, for example, Rob Schneider's character is a pretty blatant reference to Michael Myers' Halloween, right? Follows a very similar story. Guy gets out of the insane asylum on Halloween night and has to, he returns home, comes back. And then it even does the like very classic like Michael Myers shot that had to happen in like every version of the movie ever, where Michael's standing on a street corner and some kid bumps into him. Oh, sorry, mister. And then he picks up a mask and puts the mask on, or he's got the mask on, right? Like,
yeah,
so
that
Michael
was,
Myers, top to bottom.
That right there, though, too, was kind of like, oh, I mean, that was like one of the moments that I was like, yeah, that's kind of like legit scary. Like the idea of somebody escaping from a psych ward, and then it's Halloween.
We should watch Halloween.
Puts a mask on. You know,
We should watch Halloween.
Yeah. In the Michael Myers films, do you not see his face? Because so Bob Schneider's character, Richie Hartman.
I'm sorry, who?
Rob.
Hey yo.
Hubie? Hubie? Booby? There's so many.
Anyway.
Yeah. Do you not see in Halloween? Do you not see Michael Myers' face right away in the beginning? Because I have no idea. I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
It makes a point of you not seeing his face a lot. Like you see it once or twice in the action, like very plainly see it once or twice in the original timeline. I don't think you ever see it in the Rob Zombie movies, and you get kind of an over-the-shoulder glimpse of it in the 2018 sequel.
Okay. So
actually, that's a lie. You see it in the second Rob Zombie Halloween movie, like a lot, which was one of the many reasons that movie was not great.
No suspense. Wasn't keeping you on the edge.
Well, I mean, you know.
That was just one of the many things. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
We can do that movie someday and talk about that then. Anyway, so it was making that reference. It obviously had the ghost face mask from Scream.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one because that's just classic.
So in your face, yeah.
Yeah.
We can go more into this later, but it's a blatant Friday the 13th ripoff.
Okay.
And then there was obviously the Wolfman, right? And I think those are the biggest ones I remember. They're just being like, Christine, I guess. You could maybe draw a Christine reference in there with a car. So
Christine being
Stephen King's.
Oh, is that the name of the killer car?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know the novel, but I do know of Stephen King's Killer Car.
Okay. That one that they made a movie about.
Okay. Yeah, I've only ever read one Stephen King book, and that was enough to not read anymore. Cell.
Which one? Oh, Salem?
No, Cell.
Oh, Cell. Ooh, yeah, Cell.
Yeah, that's
a rough one.
That's quite the book.
Yes, it is.
And of course, me being the naive person who never watched any horror or read any horror, I'd heard of Stephen King, but also couldn't read very well back in middle school. I thought it was Stephen King. So I thought it was a different author when I picked up that book.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So this sounds interesting. Post-apocalypse, people are on their phones, get turned into zombies. Okay. But I don't have to worry about it because it's Stephen King. It's not Stephen King.
Man. I feel like
swipe or no swiping.
Like I just got to witness part of your childhood just crumble by your own doing. You
did. Thankfully that wasn't like horrifying, but there was some really like,
man, you should read some of his other books.
WTF is going on?
You should read some of the classics, and you should read some of his non-horror books. He's got a couple of those out there.
Whoa, let's go down that a little bit. Stephen King has non-horror books?
Yeah.
Like love stories?
No, I mean they're still, he keeps them in genre usually.
Oh, okay.
They're usually his like partnership books, like he'll partner with an author to do something, and something generally like kind of a thriller or
something. More like suspense or something. Not
right. Or like the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger series is Dark Tower series is not horror. It's actually heavy.
They made movies on that, right?
They made a couple that were not good.
Oh,
they made the Gunslinger starring Idris Elba. It did not do well.
yeah, I didn't mind that movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, now that I'm thinking about
it, they made one, or maybe, and they made another Dark Tower one. I don't remember which one though.
I have read another Stephen King book. It was the one about JFK. So for the day JFK was, it was like 11/63.
Yeah, 11/26/63, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. I'm not a history buff. I'm not your man. I would lose at that game show. But that was an interesting book, and I read that when I was old enough to understand what I was getting into.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, anyway. Was there any other classic tropes that you saw in this movie, or it was pretty basic?
I mean, like tropes. Yeah, I mean the whole thing is filled with tropes, right? It relishes in jump scares that aren't actual scares. It has.
Did any of them actually get you though? I'm curious.
No. There was a moment in this movie that spooked me, scared me, startled me, nothing.
There was one that didn't like scare me, but later on in the film where he was sitting in the drive-in theater and he was just like sitting there talking to himself. And then all of a sudden,
Maya Rudolph.
Yeah, she comes up. She's like, "Hey."
No, didn't
get me. They didn't scare me, but that one got me a little. I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah, no, not at all. Did not get me. Yeah, I mean, it's filled with tropes, but like that's the point of the movie, right? It's a parody. That's what I said. Like, I can appreciate this movie for what it is. I just never want to watch it again.
Yeah, well, and I was going to ask that later on, is if you would sit down and watch the movie again.
Not unless we did it for content. Like, otherwise, no.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we want to talk about what it means when I say? I mean, some horror fans will probably already know this, but do we want to talk about what I meant when I said like it's a blatant Friday the 13th ripoff?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you know anything about Friday the 13th, the series?
No.
Anything?
No.
Okay.
All the blurs together for me.
Jason Voorhees, guy with the hockey mask, big machete, right?
Okay. Yep.
Friday the 13th is his franchise. The original movie, 1989 original, and I think every other rendition of the character after. 40 years old. 30. Great movie. Sets you up the entirety of the movie. You never see the killer. You get the killer's perspective a few times, and it very plainly sets you up that Jason is the killer. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie from 1989.
Don't ruin it for me, John.
The big twist, the big reveal, right? You know, you're going through this movie going like, okay, it has told us this is Jason Voorhees come back. The big reveal is when Pamela Voorhees shows up, and come to find out the killer is actually Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mom. And she started killing the camp counselors for how they treated her son.
Interesting.
So the big twist at the end of this movie is obviously that it's Huey's mom that's the bad person.
Oh my gosh.
And she's doing it to get revenge for how they treated her son. It's a blatant Friday the 13th ripoff.
Yeah, you really just jumped right to the end there, didn't you?
I did. I had to make that explanation make sense.
Well, you could have calm down. Calm down, boy.
There's not much to this movie. Like, I don't trust me. We're saving you time, listeners. We're saving you time.
There was some. I mean, I didn't mind it. Like I said, I wouldn't go back and watch it again. But there aren't very many movies that I personally would go back and watch again. And some of the movies that I would, no one else would say the same, right?
Ooh, like what?
Well, you know, like Scream is like a movie that you can watch over and over and over again, right?
100 times.
Yeah, 100 times.
Plan to see it on the big screen again if they bring it back.
Exactly. See, like I could watch that one once 3 times, and then I'm probably good. I don't never need to see it again. But for me, some of like my favorite movies would be The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
And you haven't seen that one yet, so we're gonna have to watch that one. It's so good. Have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Walter Smitty?
Mitty.
Is
The
it
Secret
Mitty?
Life of Walter Mitty. Yeah.
I thought it was Walter Smitty.
No, it's Mitty. Whose favorite movie is this?
Definitely not mine, apparently.
And that one actually is, directed by, produced by, well, don't quote me on the produced by. I think it was anyway, and then starred by Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Which is...
I'm not a huge Ben Stiller fan, so...
Well, have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh, okay. It's not like any of his other films. Because, geez, what do you got?
Night at the Museum. I enjoy him in that.
Well, okay, yeah, that one's pretty good too. This one would probably be more closer related to that one than like the other ones, like Zohan. Not Zohan. That's not right. What? Gosh, I'm spacing on some of his other crazier movies.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Is that one?
That's not.
Isn't that the one that he zips his penis up in the zipper?
Whoa! No, I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
I'm pretty sure.
I just pulled up his bio. Man, he looks looking kind of old. Born in 1975.
He's not a spring chicken.
Spring chicken. Come on, filmography. I would think that you would know what movies Ben Stiller has been in.
I would know his filmography. A gentleman who I just told you I'm not actually a fan of his. Yeah, it makes sense. I would know his filmography. I see Ben Stiller and I go, nah.
Happy Gilmore, obviously.
Yeah, he's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Gosh, there's one.
What's that? What's the... I hate this movie. Zoolander.
Is that the one you were thinking?
I hate Zoolander.
Yeah, see, that's the one I was thinking of.
The only thing about that movie that's funny is what is this? A hotel for ants? The only funny line in the whole movie.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never actually seen Zoolander. I was thinking of Meet the Parents.
Meet the Fockers.
Meet the Fockers. Thank you. Yes, and then Dodgeball. He's in that one too. Anyway,
dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Those are movies. Those are just a few examples of movies that I would and I do rewatch kind of on a regular basis, like once a year. This is not one of them. No. And like, it definitely was kind of trying to be. It's kind of trying to set itself up like that in a way, right? You had the way, just like the story, him going and like taking out, or like trying to figure out who was taking out all these other people,
right?
Who was kidnapping these people, which we later find out is his mom. And I have so many questions about that, but I'm not going to talk about that right this second. But then you get to the end and it's like, boom, we're hitting you with a message. And like literally the ending scene is his mom, which you should go see. I recommend you go check out the movie because his mom is just like this sweet old lady. No, she's not sweet old lady, or don't go check out the movie.
She is, but don't waste your fucking time on this movie. You know what? This is the movie.
John and I have different opinions.
You all put on in the background and go about your evening
while you're doing something else. I would agree with that. We had to watch it to review it. We did the hard work for you.
I would not have watched it otherwise. No.
Anyway,
I gave up after I watched Adam Sandler's Ridiculous 6. That was the last one I went, I'm going to give this a try. It was terrible. I was out.
I don't think I watched Adam Sandler's Ridiculous 6.
Good, don't.
We should review that one.
Next. Review just happened. Don't waste your time. Next.
Okay. The message, and she's just dunking gasoline, right? We have everyone tied up that she'd kidnap. She's dumping gasoline, and we're talking about, I did all this for you. Hubie. And then, obviously we go and like the match eventually. But I was just like, wow. And then even the music, like I'm curious about you, but like at the end, I kind of had like a Home Alone vibe or like a Christmas story vibe where like, everything ended happily ever after. He became the mayor of the town. He
I had
has
a
3
very
children.
Disney Channel vibe.
That's kind of like what I meant. And just the music was kind of cheery.
Literally, you want to know what I said whenever it opened? Like it did the like fade to black and then fade opened again 1 year later.
Yeah.
I was rolling with it. I was like, all right, he gets the girl. He gets the kids.
Yeah.
The moment they put the sash on him, I went, oh, fuck off. verbally sitting alone in my basement. I saw that and I was so annoyed by it. I literally just went, oh, fuck off.
Well, he just saved the whole town, John.
No, fuck off.
He saved the whole town from his crazy mom. Well, okay, let's talk about this for a second because, and this is what I was saying by like the kind of classic trope where like the people who are like in danger gets like pulled off into like the abyss, right? How the hell is his mom doing that?
She's real good at rodeo.
Well, I guess she did disappear at the end.
She's a witch, man. That's the point.
Right.
She's a witch.
That's the point. Yeah, she's a witch.
Which is why Hubie's great grandmother spoke out against witches being persecuted because they weren't, quote unquote, they weren't real, even though, I guess she was a witch.
And then she got burned at the stake anyway.
So, I mean, I don't have much to say about this.
Well, I mean, again, let's go back to the cast. Like, you have Adam Sandler. You got Kevin
Adam
James.
Sandler's real-life daughters are in the movie.
What?
They play the daughters. They play
really
Valentine's daughters. Yeah.
Adopted daughters.
Adopted daughters, whatever. Those are Adam Sandler's actual daughters. His wife makes an appearance, but I don't remember as who.
Oh, man, that'd be great if she was Karen, but she's not. I know she's not.
I love Ray Liotta, but what the hell happened that he's doing an Adam Sandler movie? Like, man, I knew he had a fall from grace, but come on.
Ray Liotta as Mr. Landolpha, a root man who recently lost his father. Yeah. What other movies is he in? I don't know him at all. Actually.
Oh, he was in how am I blanking on it right now? It's a gangster movie.
Oh yeah, the gangster movie.
Really? All right, thanks.
Like there's only 1,000 gangster movies.
I said he was in a gangster movie. Just Google him. Ray
Goodfellas?
Liotta.
Is that the one you're thinking of? That's a gangster
Goodfellas.
movie.
Yes, Goodfellas. Yeah. That's the one I'm thinking of. He was in
maybe just
Field of Dreams. He was in a lot of movies. Ray Liotta was like, he was a guy for a while.
In The Simpsons, apparently. Pulled up this film. Yeah, I haven't seen SpongeBob. I've seen SpongeBob.
Well,
I actually haven't seen
Ray Liotta's in the movie. Good actor. Who else? I don't know. One of the things I felt like, one of the things I felt like happened in this too is it blatantly set it up with way too many red herrings. Like, I just have to say that. Like it was so like trying to be a mystery that it just kept throwing characters in your face that were just so blatantly red herrings. Like Steve Buscemi's character, like Ray Liotta's character, like the Rob Schneider's character. Like, there were so many characters that were introduced to be just so unlikable that you're like, well, yeah, what if they did it? But like, what I compare it to is back if you watch the original 1960s, 70s era Scooby-Doo. I'm dead serious. Go watch it, and what you're gonna notice is there's like the character that is obviously the villain, and then there's all these red herring characters that clearly it's like, well, no, that's not them because X, Y, and Z, or all we know about them is what makes them sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exactly what this movie did. It was like, oh, here's these characters. You just know they're shitty. Maybe they're the bad guy.
Well, so you thought, you were thinking to yourself, there's just too many of these characters then?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, all right, come on, guys.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I played that hard on it, or I just wasn't paying attention, I wasn't paying attention to like the werewolf guy. Or Richie Hartman, the loose convict from the psych ward, which it turns out they're both from the psych ward, right?
Psych ward, yeah.
Right. But I didn't really think about it that much, to be honest. But I mean, you got Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
I almost felt the most disappointed by him.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't seen what Kevin James is doing on his YouTube channel, it is 1,000 times better than this movie.
I feel like we need to review some of the stuff on his YouTube channel.
Let's do it.
James.
I mean, after seeing the beautiful work that he's doing on his YouTube channel, like watching him in this movie, you're just like, come on, man. You know you can do better. Like, come on, man. But here's the thing. I'm going to go back to it. This movie is what it's meant to be, which is Adam Sandler and his buddies having a good time. And I think they were having a good time. So.
Yeah, well, and there was another guy. And honestly, the last movie I remember him in, which is probably going to date me a little bit, would be like Even Stevens, like Family Vacation or whatever. He was a game show host. I'm so totally
no idea who you're talking about.
The dude in this movie, and I'm gonna find it eventually, so just give me a second. But he was the guy in the car later on with like the headless costume. He didn't have a.
Oh yeah, he's in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies too.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give me his name or no?
No. I have no idea what his name is.
Like, I honestly could not.
He's in like Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. Oh, he always plays pretty much the same character.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, I kind of forgot about Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2. Honestly, I kind of forgot about those movies. Yeah, he's in there, isn't he? No, he's not. Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is. Gosh, I didn't even know. Yeah, it is the same crew, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except for he didn't get David Spade. Is that right?
Yeah. No, he didn't get David Spade this time.
David Spade was like, no, I already did a bad movie on Netflix.
No, David Spade was like, I'm busy hosting my late night show that 12 people watch.
He's got a late night show?
Exactly.
Jeez. Well, did you see the Wrong Missy on Netflix? Did you see that one?
No.
Yeah.
I had no desire to see it.
We watched.
I like David Spade. Had no desire to see that. You know what David Spade needs to do for his career? Go to Disney, make The Emperor's New Groove 2.
My God. You hear that, David Spade? If you're listening to our shitty little show.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it'll be like that episode of Family Guy with Luke Perry when Peter writes a fun fact for a very old Family Guy episode. Meg, Peter's daughter, gets on the newspaper,
if you haven't
writes a
seen
really boring story. Peter writes a story that Luke Perry's gay, and there's this cutaway joke where Luke Perry is like sitting by his pool and his girlfriend or somebody is like, Luke, dinner's ready. He's like, all right, hold on. I just got to finish looking through every high school newspaper ever to see if there's an article about me. Maybe David Spade will somehow trip over this. Then we will enter a long and laborious lawsuit that will end our show.
It won't. John, stop kidding yourself. It won't be a long lawsuit.
I plan to fight it with all of your money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, David Spade. No, I'm out. It was all his idea. The idea for the show was his. I just was the innocent bystander.
Back to the movie. Shaquille O'Neal, I actually didn't like in this movie. I like him in most of Adam Sandler's movies. Did not like his character in this movie.
Wait a second. He's in other Adam Sandler movies?
Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2.
Okay. Anything else? No.
No, I think those are the only two he's been in.
Shaq
does these movies. On the side from owning Papa John's, I guess.
He owns Papa John's.
After Papa John from Papa John's turned out to have some scandalous stuff go on, and he was forced to resign, Shaquille O'Neal O'Neal bought like I guess all of his shares and is a majority share owner in Papa John's. Hence why you can call Papa John's and get the Shakaroni pizza, which is just a pepperoni pizza.
Oh my God. Wow, you're blowing my mind tonight. I mean, I thought that was an interesting twist. I mean,
No.
did I enjoy Shaq in the movie? I mean, his part was pretty minimal, but I mean, I thought it was funny.
It was not his best character.
Well, I mean, obviously his best character was the genie from, what is that movie? Oh,
Shazam.
gosh. Well, okay, that's what I was going to say.
Kazam. It's Kazam.
Yeah, I was going to say Shazam too, but then I was like,
it's Shazam.
It's not Shazam. It's not.
No,
Shazam.
it's Kazam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You didn't like him though, huh?
No, I thought the character was unnecessary.
I mean, fair point, but
this movie does not feel like it belongs in 2020 by a long shot. And the Shaq character just was like, all right, cool, I guess.
Well, I mean, from the production,
what it felt like to me was that they started like they had the idea for that character, and then they went, well, fuck, we got to fit Shaq in here somewhere. I don't know, make him that character. And they went, yeah, that'll be funny, right? Like, that's what it feels like happened. Like, Shaq he was supposed to be in the movie, but then he canceled, and then he just showed up on set the day of, and Adam Sandler was like, well, fuck, I guess I gotta shove Shaq in here somewhere. Let's film these scenes, we'll make it work. Like, that's what it feels like happened.
Oh my gosh. I mean, from a character development standpoint, there was no character development for anyone, really.
No.
But I mean, is there ever really for a Adam Sandler movie?
No.
No. But production quality, like besides the poor CGI,
well, you know,
on the stuff that's being thrown at him, I can't gripe on the movie that way. Like, I thought it was well put together, well cut.
Yeah, it was decent enough.
There was, some little funny bits here and there. I will say there was one point where he was running through the woods and there was just two random bears all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Guess that was supposed to be funny.
I really enjoyed that owl, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The owl and the cat were the 2 stars of this movie for me.
Yeah, well, you and I differ. So.
Well, I mean, what was your favorite part of the movie, John?
Oh, God,
think about it.
Great question. The introduction to Steve Buscemi's character, because it was very clear that he was a red herring, but it was like, oh, well, at least they made him kind of a cool character.
You just Friday the 13th there.
What?
Isn't that what? Not Friday the 13th? Wasn't that was the reference? What?
Not with Steve Buscemi's character. The Friday the 13th reference is the reveal that it's his mom.
My gosh.
You suck at horror.
I suck at horror, and I obviously suck at listening to you too, because
and we need to push you into the deep end of horror. So but we're not gonna push you into the deep end. We're gonna slow roll you out there.
Well, okay, no. What's his character based off of then?
Oh, Steve Buscemi's character? He's just a fucking creepy neighbor. Like, what do you mean? What's his character based on? The Wolfman, if his later story, but just the introduction is just like, oh, it's this weird creepy neighbor. And for a few moments, you're like, oh, it is this weird creepy neighbor. Okay, cool.
I keep getting him and Rob Schneider mixed up.
Yeah, Michael Myers, Halloween.
Thank you,
Very
Michael
different
Myers.
franchise.
Halloween, Friday the 13th.
Halloween actually came first.
Scream.
Halloween actually came first. Friday the 13th would later follow.
Okay, so now what? You got Halloween, Friday the 13th. What's the one Freddy Krueger's in?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
No references to Nightmare, shockingly. I was really surprised by that.
I'm actually kind of surprised that you don't have any more references to other
Sorry. He didn't reference that many.
Horror movies.
He didn't reference that many.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, he kind of keyed in on his handful and went, yeah, we're going to do this.
I mean, at that rate, there was more references to Harley Quinn with the
Yes.
newscaster and the little girl.
Jesus. Yeah, no,
When
that was
that.
interesting. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. Haha, funny. It's true though, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all I got about this movie.
What was your least favorite part about the movie?
That's a tough question.
Because my favorite part was definitely the cat and the owl.
Yeah.
It's not saying a lot.
I don't know what my least. Yeah, I don't know what my least favorite part was. Maybe actually the end, like the very end.
No, yeah.
Not just him becoming mayor and whatever, but like his mom's little monologue, like PSA moment. I was just like,
oh yeah,
let's wrap this up.
The message.
Like, let's wrap this up. Come on.
Yeah. I think I can't give it too much flack because that's what that was like the basics. Like, we're going to throw in all this dirty humor. It's going to go over people's heads, whatever. That bothered me. But the thermos joke started to get old.
The thermos joke didn't start to get old. It was just old.
It was old to begin with.
It was like, all right.
Like the only one that really caught me off guard, and I'm not sure if you noticed this, but when he was in the bathroom, he had used the thermos as a candle.
Yeah.
He was sitting on the sink. I didn't catch that right away, but I was like, wow, okay.
No, it was all ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. I couldn't get behind the thermos idea.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, you couldn't get behind the movie at all.
No, there were a lot of, like I said, I can respect the movie for what it is, but no. I guess it did also have some Children of the Corn references in there, by the way. I should throw that out there.
Oh, in the scene where they were out in the cornfield?
The corn maze and stuff like that.
That was kind of creepy. Just like looking at that, I was like, wow, that looks good. Like the scene looked good.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, I really struggled to get behind the movie. Like, truthfully, I did. And that's why I just don't have much to say about it. So.
Oh, that's fair. No, there just wasn't it wasn't memorable. Really,
no,
right?
Not at all. Like, this is not going to be that movie that I think about.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
Ever.
And not obviously recommending it to your friends and family to watch.
No, literally. And I don't do this very often, but as soon as it ended on Netflix, I went back into it just so I could thumbs down it. Like,
wait, you can do that?
On Netflix, yeah, you can thumbs up or thumbs down movies. And I went in and thumbs down that movie because I was like, no. Which is even more disappointing because it's currently, this tells you how starved we are for cinema.
We're on the same page right now.
Movie. It's the number one freaking movie.
Well,
now, some of that though, Netflix is bad about not actually releasing like their numbers or how they weigh things. So maybe they're just fudging it because it's their movie.
Right.
But I think it's just that people are genuinely starved for new cinema and they're like, screw it, let me give this a shot because I've got this Netflix account that I keep forgetting to cancel my credit card. That's the only reason I still have it. So I might as well use it to watch something new that came out.
No, let's be honest. You still have your Netflix account because you're wanting to watch Lucifer, because I know that one's pretty big. It's a big show. My mom's watching.
I know it is.
I talked to my mom today, and she's watching Lucifer. The woman who didn't let me watch Dora the Explorer when I was younger is watching the show called Lucifer on Netflix right now.
My, the times have changed.
The times have changed, John. I was confused. I have to think about that one a little bit later today. Anyway, you got that. BoJack Horseman. I mean, don't cancel your
BoJack
Netflix
Horseman's
account.
done.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a show I'd go back to and watch every once in a while.
Netflix is old reliable. Like, Netflix is the one that's always there for you, but you don't really give a crap about. And you never think you need it until that one moment when you're like, well, let's just see. Let's just see what happens. It's like when you find your old Nintendo 64 and then you like plug in that Super Mario World, Mario 64, and you're like, well, let's just see. Like, come on.
Little Smash Bros.
Come on, we'll see what happens. And all of a sudden you go when you play like classic Smash Bros. Or something, you're like, oh, this is a great time. Why did I ever stop doing this? And then after about couple hours, you're like, well, this is why. And you stop again, and then you just leave it there. And then eventually you'll come back. You'll get that couple hour nostalgia hit, and you'll move on. So
Yeah.
the streaming services that you like actively think about paying for, where you're like, oh yeah, I use HBO all the time. I got to pay for that one. Or, oh yeah, I use this service all the time. I got that bill coming up. Netflix is always the one that sneaks up on you, and it's not. It's a cheap enough rate that you're like, oh, what is this? Oh, okay, it's Netflix. Well, I guess we'll leave it till next
it's
time.
like cable. It's the
like
cable
You just
streaming
let it run in the
platforms, right?
background.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
let it run in the background.
John's kind of bashing Netflix a little bit.
Don't get me wrong. I can't remember the last time I used it, but
tonight.
Before tonight, yes.
Man, you must be watching a lot of HBO. We'll have to talk about that later.
Hulu, HBO,
Hulu.
A little bit of Amazon Prime.
Yeah, well, and I think you're right. Going back to the previous point of everyone's just kind of starved for movies. I mean, we are living in like, a weird time right now. There isn't a lot coming out.
Right.
I heard Mulan was a bust. We haven't reviewed that one because we decided we weren't going to pay the money.
No, it'll be out for free in December.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait to
I actually heard Mulan was pretty decent. They're thinking about releasing another movie that way.
You heard Mulan was decent, huh?
I mean, not in terms of being a movie, in terms of the money they made. I want to be very clear. I've not seen that movie.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I've heard very mixed things about it. So we'll see when we eventually review it in December when it's free.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of shocked to see this was number one on Netflix too. But also, I want to say, like, I think it kind of comes back to that nostalgia factor where it's kind of like the classic Adam Sandler movie that, you'd watch in the 90s when he was putting out
Waterboy.
What is it? Big Daddy? What is that? Happy Gilmore? What's that other daddy film? Is it Big Daddy? No.
I think so. No, I don't remember.
Well, I wanted to bring that one up because...
Love that movie.
What? Which one?
The Longest Yard.
Oh. He's in The Longest Yard? Movie.
Yeah,
I thought he was only in Waterboy.
Star. He's literally the quarterback in The Longest Yard.
Oh, okay. I know what movie.
Burt Reynolds talks to him, hence why Hubie in this movie has Smokey and the Bandit poster in the background of his room.
Oh my God. See, there's the little things that you should have been saying earlier on.
There's not many little things. I think I've said them all.
Well, you didn't say that one. I'm glad we got that one in there. But yeah, it's just interesting to see this is like the number one movie, and we're over here saying it's forgettable and you shouldn't even check it out.
I think you're right that nostalgia plays a part. Especially this movie was marketed very well as like a classic Adam Sandler. And I think it is, for better or worse. And I think people are just starved for new cinema. They want to see something new. And so, sure, I'm going to go watch it. It's the same reason, like, people actually went and paid to see New Mutants in theaters. Like, fuck it, it's something new. Why not? Like, let's go. Or why people are paying movie theater prices to go see old movies that they've never seen in theaters. Like, right. Yeah, it's something different. Let's go experience it.
Right.
Because we crave that. Like, this is why movie theaters are good. And I support movie theaters 100%, man. I'm all for it. You can't beat that experience.
Well, and I don't think movie theaters, and they're not going away. I think they're going to just be more scarce, a little scarce. So like your little hometown movie theaters are probably going to start to die out.
Probably, which is unfortunate. That's a lot of times the only place for a lot of kids in those towns, man.
That's true. The movie
theater
walking
around Walmart.
Church, movie theater.
You're either at Walmart or you're at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Or you're out causing things,
causing
things.
Ruckus. We don't recommend that, and we don't commend that on this show whatsoever. But yeah.
No, I think you're right. I will say it's been awesome to see the resurgence of drive-ins. Drive-ins, if you've never done a drive-in movie theater experience, it's fantastic. And it's a very different feel, and it's usually a lot cheaper as well. So,
Well, a while back I saw that Walmart was going to start converting some of their parking lots into drive-in theaters. Did they actually do
Walmart
that?
here in Topeka does that.
Really?
I've not gone, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyway, I say all of that. You're probably wondering how this ties back into Halloween, Hubie Halloween. Streaming platforms are an area that we should be putting out more new content now. People are clearly craving it. It's a great opportunity. And Halloween Hubie is not worth your time. Or Hubie Halloween.
Check something else out.
So, unless you have something else to say, Dustin, I think we rate this bad boy and sign off.
I think you're right, because I don't have anything else to talk about, and I'm not going to get anything else out of you.
No.
What it sounds like.
There's nothing else. There's nothing left.
The tank is empty. Yeah, well, John, why don't you lead it on what your rating is, and then I'll give mine.
We're going to do something. Go ahead. I want to hear yours first. Mine is dead set.
Okay, yours is dead set. I think I'm going to, do a solid, for me, 4.5 out of 10. Now, there's going to be some other people out there that probably give it a better rating, obviously, but it was just so weak. And I can't even say the production quality saved the movie for me.
Right. No, I totally get that.
It was pretty weak.
I totally get that. I'm going to give this movie a solid 2.5. A solid 2.5. It's 10? A movie to throw. It's a movie to throw on in the background. It's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It has some enjoyable moments, few and far between, and only by the slightest margins. It is something you throw on in the background while you're doing other things. That's it.
You heard it here from John. We're bringing out the cannonball. We're blowing this one up.
We're blowing this one up, buddy. It's not great. It's just not. And I can't recommend it to anybody. There are much better comedies out there. There are much better Halloween comedies out there.
Well, okay, John, for our listeners out there and our watchers, what are some other movie recommendations that you would say you should check out besides
for Halloween comedies? Or?
Yeah, sure. Halloween comedies, Halloween movies.
Oh,
man. Let's go with comedies right now, since this was a comedy.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can't, the original Scary Movie 1 and 2, solid films.
Okay.
Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th, is actually shockingly well and incredibly poorly timed. That is the full title. Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. Interesting little history lesson there. That movie was being made at the exact same time as Scary Movie. Genuinely, they did not have they didn't know about each other. It's the exact same concept for both movies. And Scary Movie made it to theaters first, so Shriek got relegated to the bargain bin at movie rental places and forgotten about until a few streaming services said, screw it, let's throw it out there. So that's a fun one. If you're looking for family friendly, go watch some classics, man. There's so many Scooby-Doo cartoon movies. The Witch's Ghost is a much better Salem the Witch Trial story than this movie. You could also go with a little Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's a great classic.
Hocus Pocus.
Funny. Hocus Pocus is a decent movie that exists. Yes.
I didn't just know that's one of the classics. If you haven't checked it out,
Halloween Town. Halloween Town is a wonderful movie.
Man,
has equally as poor CGI, but a wonderful movie.
I just watched that one the other day. No, I just watched that one the other day. We're not going to squeeze it. This is the end of the show.
No, I mean for a new episode.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see about that.
We'll see. So that's all I got, man. 2 out of 10. 2.5 out of 10. 2.5 out of 10.
You got 4.5 out of me. Well, I think that's all we got for you guys.
Not a good average score there. So
not. You'll do the math.
Till next time, we will. I'm excited for our next one. We're gonna dip your tootsies into some horror thriller.
Yeah.
With Disturbia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come check that one out, guys.
Let's go get it done.
Be interesting. Shia LaBeouf.
Always a good time.
Always a good time.
All right.
Bye.